4 News Now presents Made in the Northwest, brought to you by Great Floors.
For the past several years, the Inland Northwest has started to make some noise with its outstanding locally made alcoholic beverages. We all know about wines from Walla Walla or the Yakima Valley, but some local wineries are now being recognized nationally. Local breweries are winning all kinds of awards and making this area a destination for craft beer lovers. Even a few local distilleries and a handful of local cideries have worked their way into this delicious mix. We'll celebrate them all over the next 30 minutes on Made in the Northwest, a 4 News Now special.
Welcome to a special edition of Made in the Northwest. It's all about the great companies helping you drink local. I'm Derek Dyke.
And I'm Robin Nance. We are coming to you from No Lie Brewhouse in Spokane, which has become one of the bigger breweries in the state.
It's been serving up Spokane-style beers for years, but its newest product isn't even a beer.
In the 7 years since relaunching as No Lie Brewhouse, it's become one of the biggest craft breweries in Washington.
We got active blue oil going on right here.
With 80 employees producing about 14,000 barrels of beer a year. And owner John Bryant says they've stopped worrying about what the big boys of the beer industry are doing in Spokane.
We have to be the best Spokane craft brewer we can be. And I think in that process, I think if the community embraces us as part of their brand or part of what they're proud of, everything's gonna work out.
No Lie's Spokane-style beers, like the new Jet Juiced IPA, are found all over the Inland Northwest, and it's won over 30 international medals in brewing.
It's humbling, but it's like, how much better can we get? And I think that's what pushes innovation, which will help us push forward.
In fact, its latest push isn't into new beers. It's into hard seltzers, which have been skyrocketing in sales.
And we knew if we were gonna be a viable company for the future and be able to grow in Spokane, we had to at least experiment, try, and make a really great product.
And No Lie believes it's done it with its Day Fade Rainier Cherry and Huckleberry hard seltzers, but the recipes took months to perfect.
To make a very clear seltzer that has a very nice aromatic and nice flavor, 100 calories, less than 2 carbs, 5% alcohol, but really clean, is really difficult to do.
And while beer is still the big draw, No Lie's patio has become a go-to destination when it's warm out. You can even paddleboard right up to it.
And then they dock up and they climb up the bank, and they have a beverage, and then they're sending it around the Northwest of this cool place in Spokane.
In the bigger picture, Bryant believes the patio can become a tourist draw as part of Spokane's craft beer scene.
And all of a sudden this buzz starts happening and our local economy really goes. But as more important, the local culture of food and music and just hospitality and everything goes bam. And I think that's what that patio's about.
No Lie recently bought Orleson Brewing's facility in Airway Heights, giving it the ability and capacity to continue to grow here.
And it would be great to be kind of Spokane's first regional craft brewery since Prohibition.
And keep being the best Spokane craft brewer it can be while continuing to fight off the big boys.
I think we can win on quality. We can win on personal service. We can win on innovation. And I think energy.
Another brewery with a popular patio can be found in North Idaho. Post Falls Brewing Company makes between 80 and 100 barrels of beer a year and provides itself on its different styles of IPAs as well as its experimental beers. Right now it sells more than half of its beer in its tap house. And co-owner Dan Stokes says becoming a big brewery is not in the plans.
No, we're just trying to own Post Falls. I mean, we like to have this to be a place for the locals. We like to have a community vibe here.
And even though Stokes doesn't want the brewery to get too big, he does say they have room to expand in its current location.
Bellwether Brewing Company in Spokane has created an identity by being a little bit different than other local brewers.
It's old world style with a Northwest flair.
It's so much fun coming up with stuff that is just outside of the realm of mainstream beer.
And just outside of that realm is where Bellwether Brewing Company on North Monroe has found its niche. Head brewer Thomas Coskery can be a bit of a mad scientist when it comes to beer.
He'll come up and be like, smell this, and it's nothing like I've had before.
Coskery enjoys recreating ancient and historical beers, especially Gruit-style ales, which were popular in Europe in the pre-1500s.
Not too many people that are taking out hops and replacing them with something like 4 to 12 different botanicals, blending those together, and then getting this highly different profile.
Coskery experiments with all kinds of botanicals.
the classic pine flavor with a huge burst of orange.
Even using pine needles from a Christmas tree.
I don't have any juniper branches around, but we just had Christmas time, so we chopped up our Christmas tree from the tap room, and that is in the beer.
Another part of its identity is in collaborating with other breweries, which helped Bellwether out when it was just getting off the ground 3 years ago.
We were like, wow, why are you helping us? And they're like, it's going to be good for all of us as you guys. And so we see that as not only were we finding like a niche for us, but we're helping grow Spokane's beer scene also.
Bellwether produced around 150 barrels of beer in 2018. But with its new 10-barrel system, that number will increase dramatically, which means it plans to up its keg distribution.
Different bars, restaurants, things like that. Definitely focusing on the Spokane area.
It's also considering canning its beers as it continues to grow, but Bellwether never wants to lose its niche.
Our goal has always been to be a neighborhood place, and we want to stay that, and we always want to be experimenting and doing different beers.
And that'll be just fine for its loyal following.
A few local breweries are all about man's best friend. Laughing Dog Brewing in Ponderay, which has a dog-friendly tap room, likes to say it's been brewing fetchingly good beer since 2005. Owner Fred Colby says the brewery got its name from Ben, his yellow lab, after a friend said, "Your dog is laughing at you. He's a real laughing dog." It produces about 6,000 barrels of beer a year and can be found in 36 different states in Canada.
English Setter Brewing Company in Spokane Valley is another local brewery that wants you to come, sit, and stay. Its beers have names like Guard Dog IPA, Golden Doodle Golden Ale, and Beagle Juice. Owners Reese and Jackie Carlson bought the brewery in 2018 after falling in love with the traditional pub atmosphere they found on their honeymoon in Ireland. English Setter just recently started distributing locally.
Badass Backyard Brewing, also in Spokane Valley, is believed to be the only brewery in the state that's completely owned and founded by a woman. Charlene Hansett quit her job answering 911 calls to dive headfirst into making beer. She loves experimenting with new flavors and will even make beers based on your suggestions. Badass Backyard Brewing now has a tap room in Spokane Valley and a handle at Coeur d'Alene Fresh. It's also become a popular spot for its beer yoga.
Now, if beer really isn't your drink of choice, not to worry.
Still to come here on this special edition of Made in the Northwest.
We'll take you inside a new distillery in East Spokane and show you how Warrior Liquor is making a wide variety of flavored vodkas, flavored bourbons, and more.
We'll talk local wineries as well, including Winescape, run by a husband and wife team whose winemaking hobby grew far too big for the basement.
Welcome back to Made in the Northwest.
Earlier this summer, Dry Fly Distilling announced it'll be moving out of this building we're in right now and into the Spokesman Review's newspaper press building downtown. Last month, Dry Fly just released its new line of canned cocktails. You can now grab a Moscow Mule, spicy lemonade, or a gin and tonic off the shelf in select local stores and the distillery's tasting room.
Dry Fly is coming up on the 12th anniversary of selling its very first case of spirits. In early 2018, Dry Fly released its first 10-year single malt whiskey and is excited to release more aged products over time.
Getting to those 10, 12-year-old products on a consistent basis, that was the goal to begin with. And the further we get down the road in timing, the more of that we'll have.
Dry Fly is now producing about 10,000 gallons of vodka, gin, and whiskey a year.
And speaking of Dry Fly, Side Hustle Syrups got its start in 2017 when Dry Fly asked Dylan Huser to make an in-house ginger beer for its tasting room. But soon after, Huser decided a flavored syrup was a better way to go. Now, Side Hustle Syrups have been certified as shelf stable and can now be found at URM with several other stores expected soon. And they're made with natural, fresh ingredients. In their past life, they made pasta. Now, Rich and Mary Clemson make top shelf liquor.
Warrior Liquor is located in East Spokane, and its tasting room and its spirits are quickly catching on.
After selling their previous company, Pasta USA, several years ago, Rich and Mary Clemson realized retirement isn't all it's cracked up to be.
So we took a couple years off, got bored, decided to get back into the business game again.
They're back working with locally grown grains again, only this time they're using them to make liquor.
Everything that we use here is from local farmers, and it's just a situation to where all the grains in this area are underutilized for distillation.
But Warrior Liquor won't let them be underutilized anymore.
And our whole philosophy here was, for people to come into our facility, see the investment that we've done in our facility, the quality of it, the quality of our equipment, the quality grains, and to make a world-class product here in Spokane.
And Warrior is certainly not messing around in terms of its operation. All of this equipment is completely automated, brought in from Europe, and is top of the line.
Everything's data-driven, it's numerical values, so there's really no subjectiveness to it. What we make yesterday is going to be the same as what we make tomorrow for that consistency of product.
Warrior also feels fortunate to have Brad and Bruce Budge, formerly of Budge Brothers Brewery, working as distillers.
We've got 20 years of experience on their side in terms of mashing in, knowing the process, understanding how it's made.
Warrior's facility allows it to be flexible and make a wide variety of products.
We make a whole variety of flavored vodkas. We do a world-class gin. We do a bourbon, a rye, and a single malt. Recently, we just come out with some flavored bourbons, a cherry bomb, an espresso bourbon.
And you can try them all in its tasting room, which is attached to the production facility.
You can come here and experience our products in a very nice setting. We opened up last August. The reception's been awesome.
And while it's only been in business for a short time, Warrior is already on its way of achieving its goal of distribution throughout the western U.S.
We're starting distribution in Montana and Idaho. So as we gear up and fulfill those requirements, we'll just do Oregon and move into California.
Bold business moves and bold liquor, all from being bored with retirement.
So we've talked about craft beer and liquor from the Inland Northwest, but there are two types of libations we still need to get into.
Now, one of them is wine, one of Washington's most popular exports.
And Barrister Winery has become one of the Inland Northwest's most popular wineries. We'll tell you how a couple of lawyers with a passion for wine got it off the ground.
The other beverage we've yet to explore is cider. How some issues with gluten inspired a local man to start Summit Cider in Coeur d'Alene. Don't go away.
Welcome back to this Made in the Northwest special from No Lie Brew House in Spokane.
Hey, let's talk a little wine, shall we? Barrister Winery was started by a couple of lawyers with a passion for wine.
And it's turned into one of the area's most popular wineries. Take a couple minutes to drink in Barrister's story.
It's a winery built partly on Cabernet Franc and other full-bodied reds, but mostly on camaraderie.
Ability to come in here with friends and make wine during the crush season or all year long, but we do it with friends.
Nearly 20 years ago, Michael White and Greg Lipsker, a couple of local attorneys and wine drinking buddies, were on a road trip in British Columbia when they stopped at a shop that sold winemaking kits.
And I looked at Michael and said, we've always wanted to make wine, so we bought this kit to make 5 gallons of wine from a concentrate, and that's how this whole thing started.
It turned out to be okay wine, but not great. And so we decided we could do better.
By 2000, they were buying grapes from Walla Walla and crushing 1.5 tons of them in Lipsker's garage. That same year, they sent 4 wines to the Indy International Wine Competition.
And we won 3 golds and a silver. Thought maybe we're doing something right.
That was the first time we thought we had an objective response to the quality of our wines.
So in 2001, Barrister Winery was born. The name, a nod to their past lives as attorneys.
Under the British legal system, they have barristers and solicitors. And if you look at our logo, it's the scales of justice with grape clusters.
Barrister's most popular wine, a red blend called Rough Justice. With the help of some loyal volunteers, Barrister produces 5,000 cases of wine a year. The grapes now come from 10 different vineyards, from Walla Walla to near Vantage.
80% of making wine is in the vineyard and 20% is don't mess it up when you get home. So we hope that we're very good at that 20%.
After they're crushed on site, the fermentation process begins.
We're punching down those grapes 4 times a day in order to mix them up with the juice to extract as much color and aroma and flavor as we can.
After 7 to 10 days, its red wines are stored downstairs in oak barrels.
Each of these barrels contains about 300 bottles of red wine apiece, and here in the barrel room, they're aging from anywhere from 1.5 years to 4 years.
Barrister has become known for its signature style, but it's also become known for hosting events in its over 100-year-old building.
Weddings, receptions, rehearsal dinners, birthdays, client appreciation events.
People just love the romance of it and all the lighting and everything, so it's really a huge factor for our business.
And business is just fine for Barrister where it is.
We really don't want to grow any larger. We're kind of at a sweet spot.
A verdict these lawyers turned winemakers are content with.
If you're looking for a wine escape this weekend without actually leaving the city, look no further than Winescape.
It's the South Hill's only winery, and it's run by a husband and wife.
When Phil and Patricia Butterfield opened Winescape Winery on this 14-acre property on the South Hill in 2017,
what we wanted was a sense of you could have a glass of wine and you could feel like you were 100 miles away.
a destination for drinking wine without leaving Spokane.
They enjoy the location, they enjoy the facility, they enjoy coming into a tasting room where they look out, oh, that's where they make the wine.
The Butterfields are WSU professors reinventing themselves in their 60s after their winemaking hobby grew too big for the basement.
Of course, I was always thinking about a winery, dreaming about it, doing planning about it.
Coming from the world of academia, starting a winery and running a business has been quite an adventure.
90% of the time, it's been really fun, and 10% of the time, it's been, what are we doing?
But Phil, aka Dr. Winescape, has really taken to his new profession, connecting the science of winemaking with the art of winemaking.
He has the talent, he has the palate, and he has the ability to do something that's very special.
And because of Phil's extensive research in labs, Winescape doesn't have to send its wines away for testing.
And run the analysis and get the answer right away, come back out, take any corrective actions that I might need to do.
But what the Butterfields really enjoy is making Winescape work together.
Instead of losing our identity as college professors and different things, we've gained our identity as people that are doing something special and unique.
It's brought us together in a whole new way.
And making wines people enjoy, like the Cabernet Sauvignons Phil is especially proud of, doesn't hurt either.
It's very gratifying that people enjoy our wine.
Winescape is a destination, and its wines have definitely arrived.
We can make great wine here, and that's our intention. And I think we're starting to prove that we can do that with the wines that we've released so far.
Today, there are dozens of wineries